Hey, good morning, guys. It is May 13th, and Acts 24:16 is Paul being brought before Felix, and he's giving a defense um, because he's being accused of things that he's not guilty of. It's funny that they always, sorry, I'm jumping around. Um, they always accuse Paul of things that are somewhat true, of inciting riots and disturbing the peace. And he did disturb the peace. he did he did incite people to change the way they think and talk and believe. But they brought him before Felix, and so he's in the midst of his defense. He says, I don't like his version. I'll read the NIV. So I strive always to keep my conscience clear before God and man, keeping his conscience clear. And so Chambers is dealing with conscience. What in the world is that? What is conscience? The habit of a good conscience is the way he titles this section today. The second paragraph here says, "Conscience is that faculty in me which attaches itself to the highest that I know and tells me what the highest I know demands that I do." So conscience is kind of the end of this string. It attaches itself to the part of me that knows the highest good, and that part of me that knows the highest good has to be connected to the Spirit of God. And so um, it's interesting what he says. He almost qualifies it by saying that conscience, the highest that I know doesn't mean that if I listen to my conscience, I'm going to do godly things. That is not what it means. It means if I'm in communion with God, then my conscience will point to godly things. If I'm not, my conscience will not. It will not point to things. Um, he says here, sorry, it says here in that second paragraph, conscience records differently in different people. If I'm in the habit of steadily facing myself with God, my conscience will always introduce God's perfect law and indicate what I should do. So then the key becomes staying in communion with God and keeping myself open to hear from him, and then my conscience will not lie to me. It'll speak the highest good. It'll lead me to truth. And I wrote in my margin here, and I don't know, you guys can challenge me on this, but in the events where I say to myself, I don't know what to do, that in essence I am saying I can't hear God. And then by extension, a lot of times, many times, that is saying I'm not listening well enough. So the times where I say I don't know what to do, most of the time, and this is for me, maybe it's different for you, I don't know what to do means I'm not listening well enough. The fact that I can't hear God means I'm not listening well enough. And listening, I would say, is a function of the posture of my heart. You guys catch that? So listening and hearing from God is a function of the posture of my heart. David was a man after God's own heart. He listened when God spoke. He obeyed when God uh, judged. He accepted when God convicted. He repented. Um, so that the posture of my heart determines how well I hear, and then that then determines how much my conscience is accurately um, communicating the will of God. Okay, sorry. All that to say, is my ear? He says here down later in that paragraph, is my ear so keen to hear the tiniest whisper of the Spirit that I know what I should do? His voice is so gentle that it's easy to ignore it. And I think that's when it's funny because sometimes people say listen to your conscience, and that I would say they're usually saying listen to your heart. And it was funny, one of the things that I don't know if it was brought, I think it was in a thesis statement that recently we went to Meredith's thesis defense, and one of the things, listen to your heart. Someone says listen to your heart, and that's terrible advice because the Bible says the heart is wicked and will lead you astray, basically. So listening to my conscience is is good advice if my conscience is striving after God, if my heart is turned toward God. So, anyway, hope that was as some of that was as clear as it sounded or seemed in my brain. But whatever, listen to your conscience today. No, more importantly, make sure that your conscience, your heart is in a posture that can receive from God. Guys, have a great day.